Hi, I'm Andrew Carr. I'm one of the writers for Corner Gas the movie. I'm one of the original writers that was on the series from the onset. And hello, Backers Club. I originally started writing for Corner Gas because Brent and myself had a history. He and I both started out in stand-up comedy together way back in the day. I don't actually want to mention the date, but we both started out as amateur comedians in Saskatchewan and became fast friends and lived together for a while and traveled together and did comedy together, etc. And I've always mentioned he's kind of like the seventh brother I've never had from a large family, so that's the big joke. So when the series came to fruition, I had sent him a few scripts that I had written, and so he knew that I had some prowess as a writer. And when the series came about, he really came to bat for me to be on the series because I'm being originally from Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan boy, I knew small town very well. We both had a similar sense of humor, etc. So when first season happened, I was not on set with him or working in the writer's room. I did 2 freelance scripts co-written with him, and from there was brought onto the series from season 2 on to its finale 6 years later, or 5 years later. So we have a long, fast history of it, and it's been an incredible ride for 107 episodes. I don't think any particular character's voice comes easy to me. It's always fun to write Oscar because he goes on these wonderful rants. It's very easy to write Hank because his stupidity comes into play and his aloofness comes into play, which is great. But I think each character you get to play with and you know. And the great thing about the actors that play the characters is they're so good at it, and they have such a niche character that they come at things from a different angle, I guess is the best way to put it. So you know what they would say in a certain situation or how they play things out. So I think all in all, each character was fun to write, but Oscar was, and everybody had an impression of Oscar in the writer's room. So whenever we were riffing out lines or doing things like that, somebody always had a great Oscar impression that would come out as well. The tricky thing about any series, actually, and the characters, is that in season 1, you write for what you think the character should be. And then as you watch the actors play out their characters, you start to see them bring what they bring to the table for the characters themselves. And so you start to write for the actor and how they play it. It's really an interesting and organic process in that way. And a classic example of that actually is Lauren Cardinal's character Davis. Initially was the laid-back, experienced veteran, and Tara Spencer-Nairn's character Karen was the keener cop who was very inexperienced. And after the first season, we got to see that Lauren became this kind of eccentric type of a character who kind of got a little carried away with things, and Karen was the grounded one who had to bring him back into it. And she almost seemed like the experienced ones in a lot of ways. And so it was a big change. I remember talking to Brent about this, and he said, yeah, what they brought to it really kind of changed how we viewed the characters themselves as well. So, no, I don't think there's anything that the characters or that I wanted to bring to the table that wasn't brought to the table, I guess is the best way to put it. When you mine creativity for 107 episodes for 8 characters, 3 storylines per episode, you're looking at 320 storylines, if not more, because we had certainly some episodes had 4 things going on, 4 storylines going on, or runners, etc. So I think we really exhausted everything. I don't think there was anything in my mind that I sort of went, oh, I wish we could have done that. I think it was pretty much all there. Interesting enough, the process of creating the movie, or the discussions about the movie, happened in the final season of Corner Gas. I mean, there was already a little hint dropped or a suggestion of, hey, maybe a movie. So it wasn't anything that was thought of as an afterthought. It was interestingly enough, something that was talked about from almost the day we wrapped. We kind of went, hey, a movie would be kind of fun. Of course, at that time, after, again, 6 seasons, you kind of take a step away and explore other avenues and do other things. But it was always in the back of my head at least, and I know Brent and I had talked about it. So it was always there as far as a movie idea, yeah. Initially, when we discussed this, Brent had written a feature script before a long, long time ago. It was actually for a John Candy movie, and of course, sadly, John Candy passed away, but so he had some experience in that sense. Myself, I hadn't, and when we initially gathered in that January, the discussion made was a valid discussion too. First of all, we explored what television shows that had been made into movies were there, and we discussed how successful they were, etc. There weren't a lot of movies in that sense that were television shows that had been shot into movies that weren't parodies, like the Brady Bunch movie. The Simpsons movie came into play, but that's animated, so that really doesn't apply in the same sense. The only one was Sex and the City, and we discussed at length of how we felt that movie was more of a, 3 episodes put together, and we didn't want that. What we wanted was, at length again, a discussion about walking that fine line of having a big movie feel, and at the same time keeping the essence of the show and the characters involved. So we talked a lot about not making this just 3 episodes packed together, and more so having a big movie experience.
Hello, Brent here. Hey, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the little bell notification too. That way you'll always be alerted whenever we're posting a new video. All right then.